This video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Hello everybody, welcome back to another Farming Simulator 22 Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Middleburgh. But before that, this video is brought to you by Chasey Dog and Charlie Farmer. Thank you for being farm barons. So Middleburgh can be found over at NitroDad's Facebook page and over at his itch.io page. There will be a link to both of those down in the description below. This is a 4X map, and given the fact that it has been released over at itch.io and Facebook, it is going to be available for PC players only. Now, let me read a bit of the description. And this description is going to go along for a little bit, but it is well worth paying attention to. If you fast forward and then you skip things, you miss things, you don't understand how the map works, it's not my problem. Hello, friends. So much has happened since we last met. I know I promised our next adventure would be a bit further south, but I came across a real gem for you to explore. Located deep in the Catskill Mountains of New York, the area around Middleborough is an amazing sight to see. While farming is still a major way of life here, industry and retail development have made their way here as well, with curvy country roads, deep ravines, waterfalls, and fields carved from the earth itself. Middleborough takes back the pioneer roots dating back to the early 1700s. Located along scenic Route 30, also called the Adirondack Trail, it is a road worth taking for sure. Local attractions include Minekill Falls and Vermoon's Nose, a popular hiking trail to the top of a granite mountain top overlooking the valley. To start off, I purchased a few acres at a place for you to sleep. I have also gathered a few pieces of equipment from local farmers that you will need right away. I already planted a crop for you in the fields, so you are really ready to shine. Local farmers have a lot of work available for you as well, so you can make some extra money that way. A special trailer has been included to transport lime water if you choose to make sugar. Other included mods are needed for your starting fleet. Harvest is upon in the valley. Are you up to the challenge? Now let's read a little bit about the map features. Middleborough has 5 farms ranging in size from small starting farm located deep in the hills with its own special production facility to large commercial farms and wineries. All production built into the map is already available to be bought and sold by the player at any time. I also provided extra sell points at many of the factory locations so other players will continue to have locations to sell products even if those production areas are owned by someone else. All production speed has been increased, along with storage capacity adjusted to provide a better multiplayer gameplay. The map includes custom animal pens and barns, plus many custom buildings and new textures. Multi-terrain angle has been added, as well as a custom soil map for those who are playing with precision farming. Anhydrous propane and lime production has been added as well, and modified a bit. You now need either beets, cut beets, or sugarcane and lime water to make sugar. Lime water is a chemical solution that is used in sugar production in real-world factories, and as an output, you will get beet pulp and sugar. Pulp can be sold or used to make pig food at the pig food factory. Several new productions have been added, including whiskey, beer, bagels, hot dog buns that can be sold at the ballpark, cracked corn, rolled barley, and doghouses. Several lots have been set up around the town as buyable areas to add even more production buildings as needed. Some lots are clear, others have buildings, trees, and rocks on them. All lots may be cleared after purchase. Some have an extra fee associated with the lot clearing. NitroDad has added many surprises for you to find and experience on the map, including floods, culverts that activate during rain, boats on the river, and a campground that I would probably want to avoid after nightfall. I really hope you enjoy this map, and as always, stay safe. Wow, so with that, let's go ahead and jump on in. Now, when you download this map, you'll unzip the download, and in there you'll have the map itself, as well as a few mods. We will have the DETK5 trailer right here. We'll also have the John Deere 200 series headers, the John Deere 43 series corn headers, and then John Deere new generation combines. Now we're going to go ahead and leave those mods active, as well as additional field info, additional game settings, field lease, field calculator, and precision farming. While the map is loading on in, I will tell you that if you load this map up in farm manager mode or start from scratch, you will find that this map looks identical to new farmer mode, with the exception that you do not own any land. Given the fact that land on this map is fairly expensive, I would suggest starting in new farmer mode, because at least at that point, you already own a decent chunk of land and you can get started making some money right away. This map does include, as the description said, a custom soil map. We will be taking a look at that here in a little bit. And interesting enough, when we load in here, we load in the southwest corner of the map, down here by the river. Now we can come up the river to our truck. And at that point, if we wanted to, we could make our way up to the farm. But before we do that, let's go ahead and just take a look at the PDA itself. This is a 4X map, so everything is going to be 4 times larger than it would initially appear. You can take a look at the lands area. You'll see we start out by owning Farm 1. All the farms are numbered. So we have Farm 1 right here, which is 57.38 acres in size, includes fields 7 and 5, and it is purchasable for $1.3, nearly $1.4 million. We have Farm 2, which is down in the valley, is 59, almost 56 acres in size, includes fields 76 and 77. It is purchased for $1.35 million. We have Farm 3, which is just south of Farm 2. It is 60 acres in size. It can be purchased for 1.57 acres. We have Farm 4, which is down here. This is kind of a winery set up for grapes. It is 123 acres in size, and it is $1.5 million. And these are some additional grape fields that can be purchased as well. And then kind of in town, we have Farm 5, which is 59.4 acres in size, $1.44 million, and includes fields 22, 23, 24, and 38. Let's go ahead and zoom back out here. We do have all of the standard crop types available to us here in Farm Sim 22. And we do have, as I said, grapes down here in the southeast of the map. We also have an olive orchard, which is located right here, or an olive grove, which is located at farm number 2. So we have all of the crops that are represented in Farm Sim 22 represented on this map at the start. Let's take a look at the farmland lease screen, and we use the farmland lease screen for the purpose of seeing the buyable farmlands, how big the buyable farmlands are, if those particular farmlands include fields, and then ultimately how much those farmlands are going to cost. As you can see, we own farmland ID 1 right now. It includes field 5 and 7. It is $1.4 million. We scroll through this list. I'm going to go through slowly. You can pause at any point in time if you want to see a little bit more detail of each individual buyable farm land, how big they are, if they include fields, and what cost those are going to be. As you can see, we have 182 buyable farmlands available to us. If we take a look at the field calculator, now this is going to break down those farmlands into individual fields. It's going to tell us how big each individual field is, and then we can basically compare that to the farmland screen that we previously looked at to get a general idea of how big the field is with respect to how big the actual farm land is. So while we had 182 buyable farm lands, we have 128 actual fields that we can purchase. Let's go ahead and take a look at the custom soil map. As you can see, looking at the soil map, along the river, we have sandy loam. And then as we get a little bit further off of the river boundaries, we have a fair bit of loam. And then there is a strip of loamy sand that is kind of running through the town a bit further away from the river's edge. But overall, we are looking at some pretty prime farm real estate here on this map. Looking at our crop calendar, we do have the standard base game crop calendar available to us here on the map. And if we jump down to our prices screen, you're going to see that we have quite a bit of sell points available for the bulk of our grain crops. In fact, we can sell pretty much everything that we can make at multiple sell points. We also have multiple sell points for our animal outputs. And then we have sell points for silage, hay, straw, and grass. And then when we move down to our production, we can indeed sell everything that we can make in the base game for Farming Simulator 22. And as you're going to see, there's a fair bit of extra things that have been added to the map as far as production also. The list would typically end right there at stones, but we also have beet pulp. We have our lime water, which we can buy and sell. We have donuts, we have bagels, hot dog buns, Adirondack soda, we have wine, we have corn syrup, potato chips, French fries, doghouses, corn whiskey, regular whiskey, beer, and then we have anhydrous and propane. We start out with a very, very small list of starting equipment. Got some older John Deere equipment here. All of it is owned, none of it is leased. We start out with a chicken pen and a large cow pen. There are also multiple animal pens scattered across the rest of the map as you buy additional farms. We do have contracts available to us, and we start out by owning 3 large greenhouses and a moonshine still that is able to make corn whiskey and regular whiskey. So as far as moonshine goes, we're gonna need 2 units of cracked corn and water, and then that is going to make corn whiskey. Or we can have 2 units of rolled barley and water, and that is going to make 5 units of regular whiskey. With that, let's go ahead and maybe drive up to our farm. And as we're driving up to a farm, maybe we'll talk a little bit more about the production that is on the map. And then when we get up there, we'll take a look at our starting fleet. So as far as production on the map, we have 26 production buildings built into the map. We have already seen we have 3 large greenhouses. We have a moonshine facility. We have a biogas plant. We have the ability to produce lime, furniture, potato chips. We have a sawmill. We have a clothing factory. We have a barley mill. We have a corn mill. We have a flour mill. We have a sugar mill. We have a pig food mill. We have 2 bakeries. We have a wine and brewery facility. We have 2 oil mills. We have a cereal mill. We have a brewer specifically for brewing beer. We have a spinnery. We have a dairy. We have a soda production, Adirondack soda. And then we have wine production. All of that is built into the map. Let's zoom out a little bit and kind of just soak in the sights here. I think Nitro Dad has done an absolutely excellent job with putting this map together. And if you look at the PDA down in the lower right, you'll see that overall, I mean, we're talking about a 4x map. But we're not talking about having 4x worth of actual farmable land, right? A good chunk of this map is forest. A good chunk of this map is mountainous. But still, the map has a lot of agriculture possibilities here. We're going to see a lot more detail when we get around to our fly around. This is going to be a long map video. So be prepared. Maybe pause the video, go grab a drink, go grab some snacks, because we're going to be here for a while. We've got to run down still the starting equipment. Not going to take too long there. We've got to do a little bit of a map tour around the farm. And then we are going to have to basically break down all of the production. All 26 productions. We're going to have to run through what you make, what they take, and then we're going to get to our drive around, which itself is going to take quite a bit of time because, well, there is a whole lot to look at. But look at this road. I mean, just imagine driving up here and down here trying to sell your grain, going to town, getting some supplies. Now, from what I understand, this map has a custom snow mask in it, so when it does snow, I would expect that we're going to get a lot of snow. But apparently they have a really good road plowing crew that comes through here and plows the roads. But this road here, I don't know. I really got to wonder how well this road is going to get plowed, if it's going to get plowed at all. Now, this road is going to continue on up and hit these fields, but we're going to turn right here and make our way up the hill to the starting farm. Now let's go ahead and take a look at that starting equipment. We're going to start out with the John Deere 4755 medium tractor. We have the 7700 gas short exhaust harvester that is paired up with the 843 corn header. We have our 2017 pickup truck, and then we have the Welger DK115 trailer. We got the Horsch Torino 3FX cultivator. That's our starting fleet, and that is it. Now, as far as mods included with this map, we have the DETK5. This is a custom trailer that has been set up to take all of the liquids on the map. We have milk, we have water, we have fuel, DEF, we have liquid herbicide, we have liquid fertilizer, herbicide, we have anhydrous, we have propane, we have stink water, slurry, then we have our lime water and our digestate. We have that trailer right there. Then we also have the John Deere 200 series grain headers for the new generation combines. We have the corn headers. We have the new generation combines themselves. And I did a new and noteworthy mod review on both sets of these headers and this particular combine. So we have our farmhouse. But you may notice that our farmhouse sleep trigger is conspicuously missing. Well, that's because it's over here. We're sleeping with the dogs. We have our trailer. This farm is very modest. We have our storage shed with our tractor and our harvester in it. We still have, well, remnants of the outhouse around back. We have our custom chicken coop. We have our egg spawn point located right there. We have our food trigger, food trough. And then we're going to be able to support 360 chickens in this particular pen. We have our farm silo. So we have our dump point and our fill pipe. Our header and our cultivator. And then we have our custom cow pen. So we have our milk trigger located right here in the milk house. We might need to oil up those wheels. We have our slurry pit. We have our animal trigger. 200 cows can go into this pen. Then we have our food trough. Looks like we don't have to worry about watering our cows. They are right there. Our cows have a large kind of pasture to roam around in. Continues on down the fence line. But that's not it. There's one more thing on this farm that any resident of the farm really needs to be aware of. And that is, well, a secondary way that our farmer is able to profit from his endeavors. Back here in the woods, we have ourselves boys still. We have our spawn point for our whiskey. We have our dump station. And inside, oh yeah, we have ourselves our still. Again, this is going to take cracked corn and water. It's going to make corn whiskey, and then rolled barley in water, and it's going to make regular whiskey. Now you may even ask yourself, how do you make cracked corn? I'll tell you when I figure it out. How do you make rolled barley? I'll tell you when I figure it out. Now, as far as can the farm be customizable? You can sell a few things on the farm, but you can't sell everything. So overall, the farms on this map are fairly fixed. In fact, all 5 of the farms, for the most part, are not sellable. You can sell the chickens here. You can sell the farmhouse. And for this particular farm, that is about it. Everything else is permanently affixed up here on the farm. Other farms, you can sell a bit more, but overall, most of the farms are going to be affixed to the map. So overall, the map is not going to score super high with respect to the farms being customizable. Now with that, let's go ahead and get set up to take a more detailed look at all of the production that's available on the map. So we have 3 standard greenhouses that we own at the start. We also have the moonshine still, which we have already taken a look at. I have already gone through and purchased all of the other in-game production areas. We've got our base game silage plant here, or biogas plant. It's going to take silage, slurry, manure, and sugar beet cut. And it's going to then output power, methane, and digestate. We have lime production, where we're going to bring 2,000 units of stone, 1,200 units of water to make 4,500 units of lime. We have Martin's Amish furniture. They are going to take planks, and they are going to either make furniture or dog houses out of those planks. We have potato production. They're going to bring potatoes in and make French fries and potato chips. We have a sawmill that's going to take wood in, make planks and wood chips. Clothing factory, pretty straightforward. Fabric's going to make clothes. Then we have the barley mill. Remember, the still, right? Our moonshine still is going to take cracked corn and rolled barley. So at the barley mill, we're going to put barley in. We're going to get rolled barley out. The corn mill, we're going to get corn in. We're going to get cracked corn out. And then we're going to need to take that up to our moonshine still in order to then get our corn whiskey and our regular whiskey. Flour mill is pretty standard: wheat, barley, oats, sorghum, and we're going to get flour. The sugar mill, do take note that this is a little bit different. The sugar mill is going to take sugar beets, and lime water, and it is going to make sugar and beet pulp. And then the same is going to be said with respect to sugar cane. It's going to take sugar cane as an input and lime water, and it's going to produce sugar and beet pulp. With the excess sugar cane, we can call it sugar cane pulp if you want, either way. We're going to take that pulp, then take it to our pig food production, and we're going to be able to make pig food with the pulp, wheat, and cracked corn. And that's going to make pig food and mineral food. We have two different bakeries. We have a standard bakery that's going to make bread and cakes. Then we have a secondary bakery that is going to make hot dog buns, bagels, and donuts. We have wine production that's going to take grapes in and it's going to make raisins and wine out. And this is boxed wine. A lot of this production is making custom production outputs. Pretty cool. We have an oil mill that is going to make sunflower, canola, and olive oil, but it also is going to be able to take corn in and output corn syrup. We have our cereal factory that's going to be pretty standard affair. We have then the brewery production that's going to bring in wheat, cracked corn, and rolled barley. Wheat is going to make beer. Cracked corn is going to make corn whiskey, and rolled barley is going to make regular whiskey. The spinnery is going to be wool and cotton. It's going to make our fabric. Then we have a standard base game dairy. And then we have the Adirondack soda factory that is going to take corn syrup, sugar, and water, and then it's going to output Adirondack soda. So that is all of the buyable production that is here on Middleburgh. Let's go ahead and take to the skies. Pull up the mini map. You can see at this point we are basically pointed to the north. And this is where we can see the massive forest that we've got going on here. So in new farmer mode, we start out by owning fields 5 and 7. Those are the fields directly in front of us. Now, interesting enough, those fields, they have what? Corn in them. Good, because that's what we have. We have a corn harvester. And we can then take that corn, and then if we buy the corn mill, we can make cracked corn, and then we can bring that up to our still, which is down there in the woods, and make our corn whiskey. So we've got 8 fields up here in the mountains. And then above those fields, we have 2 grass fields, kind of way up here. We have 2 clearings for our grass. So if we have cows, then we come up here and we can make our hay. We can make our silage bales. We can mix up our TMR. I think this is a really cool farm to own up here. I would probably buy the grass areas up here. I would probably own all 8 of these fields and just be completely satisfied farming up here in the mountains. Right? And then look down over the valley. And then way off in the distance, we can see up over to the other side where we have a big collection of fields further up over there. Now we have what I am affectionately calling Camp Crystal Lake. We have our lake over here to our right. Directly in front of us, we have a campground. And the campground is a little spooky at night. So you might want to be careful if you come up here to the campground during the nighttime. But the campground is really cool, something to thoroughly check out. Let's continue on. Make our way up here to the north. This is where the biogas plant is located. And then we'll just kind of make our way down the valley and then over to the farm 4. So our starting farm is technically farm number 1 on the map. And then farm 5 is directly over there across the river. So here we have one of our grain sell points. We have the biogas plant, which is also our biomass heating sell point. We can also buy bulk slurry from here. So if we are kind of being organic farming, we can buy slurry from there. Now you'll notice as we're coming over here to farm number 5, none of the triggers are showing up. And that is because we need to own the farms before we are able to basically see those triggers. So let me just go ahead and buy farms 2 through 5. And then we'll be able to talk about what is available at each individual farm. So farm 5, we have 2 silage bunkers. We have some sheds over here. We have a hay loft. We have several storage bins for grain. And these bins are very interesting. So these are just like the base game placeable bins where you have to use an auger to fill them in the top and use an auger to take them out. But these bins are rather unique in the fact that we have to come over here to the door. And when we get to the door, you see this open gate. Left click. And if we come up here real fast, we'll see that the lid comes off. And when the lid comes off, now we can basically fill our grain into the silo. So here the lid is on. We can't fill the silo until we take the lid off. And then once we take the lid off, then we can fill the silo. Pretty cool little trick. On the other side of the road, we have our farmhouse. We have a chicken coop. And then we have multiple cow areas. We have a sheep area, and then we have a pig area. So we have a big cow barn here. And we're going to buy all our animals during the drive around. We have our pig area. We have another cow barn. Our cow area right here. And then we have a big sheep area further up the hillside. And that is farm number 5. Then as we continue down here toward town, it's going to get busy, and it's going to get busy pretty quick. So directly in front of us, we have the cereal factory, briquette mills. We have our oil factory over here to the right, and something very, very important to note on most, if not all, of these big production factories. There are 2 dump areas. On the left, we have a sell point. And on the right, we have the production point. So if someone owns the oil mill here, if you come to the right, you're going to be giving product to the owner of the oil mill or the owner of whatever given factory that you are at. If you come to the left, you're going to be coming to the oil mill sell point. And even if the oil mill is owned, you're going to be always able to sell product at the oil mill sell point. And that is going to hold for lots of these production points. The cereal factory is the same thing. We have our sign here that says sell point to the left, production to the right. So that is going to be a trend on this map, is sell points are going to be on the left lane, production is going to be on the right lane. So whenever you are at a production area and you see that there are basically 2 dump points side by side, you can be pretty assured that the sell point on the left is going to be for, or the dump station on the left is going to be for selling, and the dump station on the right is going to be for production. So here we are at Central Grain, and Central Grain has lots of stuff going on here. We have a grain buy point where I can buy product. We have a grain sell point where we can sell grain. we have a dump station for flour production at our flour mill. We have the interactive icon for the flour production. We have cracked corn production, and then our interactive icon for buying the cracked corn production. Here we have the rolled barley production and the interactive icon for that. And then we have the pig food production. And then we have the lane for that right here. So this is a very, very busy area. Central grain. And then over here we have the customer pickup area. So we have a pallet spawn point for our cracked corn. We have a pallet spawn point for our rolled barley. And we have a spawn point for our flour. Right there. So 3 different triggers, 3 different marker areas for 3 different products to output. Now here we have Klein's bed and breakfast. This is a sell point. And then over here we have Bokeley's red potatoes. So this is our potato factory. We have our interactive icon there. We have our spawn point for our pallets of French fries and potato chips. We have our dump station around the side. And then we have our sell point on this side of the building. Okay, so we can always sell on this side, whereas the other side of the building is going to be used for production. So a little bit further down the street. And here we have our industrial bakery. So around the back, we have our interactive icon or dump station and our spawn point for bakery number 2. And this is going to be where we are going to get our hot dog buns produced, our bagels, and our donuts. We have the sell point at the bakery. Again, remember, like I said, all of this production. We have dump stations for the ownable production, and then we also have dump stations to actually sell product, regardless if the bakery is owned. Then here we have our traditional bakery for our breads and cakes. And then I have to say, everybody needs to come down and visit the ND Bank and Trust. They are here to help you out, complete with a drive-through. Definitely worth coming by and checking out. The next point of interest is Pop's Place, which is a sell point located right here. Then we have sell point at Hats and More, clothing and apparel. Here we can buy propane. Remember, we'll need the modded trailer that is included with the download in order to transport propane. Here we have Italian restaurant. What is this? Internet cafe. An internet cafe. Oh, well, they got pretty good shows after all. Can't really knock the internet cafe for that. Walmart. Everybody loves themselves a good Walmart. Sometimes it's interesting to just come by and watch folks at frequent Walmart, and makes you feel better about yourself. And here we have the Walmart sell point. Precision textiles. So this is going to be our spinnery. So we have our interactive icon. We have our production point. And our sell point is around the side. GD Transport. Sell point located right here. ND Construction. And let's go ahead and take a look. Around the town, we have a couple of buyable plots. So as I said in the intro, when I was giving kind of an overview of the map features, there are buyable plots of land here in town that we can buy. So this buyable plot, which is directly in front of us, we can buy for $100,000 and place whatever production down we want to. We have another buyable production area over here behind us that is $98,000. There's a small plot over here that we can buy for $20,000. We have another buyable plot down just by M, and M is the soda factory. I think maybe we skipped the soda factory, or maybe we saw that. That is $35,000 to buy. We have a little plot of land here, $88,000. Another plot of land, $153,000. Here we have a plot of land, $76,000 and $75,000. And some of these plots of land, like the one I'm going to show you over here, well, they are a little overgrown. They've got some trees, they've got a fence, they've got some rocks in there. Really, it's going to require a fair bit of work in order to get rid of those. So if we buy this little plot, now that we own it, well, we can come here into the build mode and we can tell them to basically demolish, and we can have them sell it. I'm not clicking on the right spot somewhere. I can basically get them to, it worked in the first look, but basically I can pay $7,500 to have this cleared out. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, there are other plots kind of scattered around. Another little fun, little interesting thing is scattered throughout the town, you're going to find these older style houses. Those are historical buildings, if you will. Part of the Middleburgh Historical Society. Preserved with the textures. And then, where is that? Here's the buyable plot. So here's another production point that you can buy. And this one has been blocked off with a barricade. Once you buy the land, you can basically sell the barricade and clear things out of the way. Here we have Men's Bar and Grill. Another sell point. Located right there. And then Walmart, as I mentioned. An interesting feature on this map is when it rains, the valley down here will flood. Okay, so you won't lose crop, okay, but if it rains, the valley down here will flood, and these rain culverts, well, they will be flowing, they'll be overflowing with water. There's a couple culverts scattered around the map. You're going to see them basically spewing water in order to clear the flooded areas of water. Pretty cool little touch. I'm sure there's plenty of other little Easter eggs scattered around the map. You never know what might pop up in the middle of winter time. So over here at Fox Farms feed and seed. We've got a lot going on here. So over here on the right side of Fox Farms, we have our lime production. So we have our stones we're going to drop off here, or water we're going to drop off here, and we're going to be able to get lime from there. We're going to be able to buy lime. We have anhydrous ammonia we can pick up here. If you do play with precision farming and you do want to use anhydrous, you will need to have a modified precision farming in order to work with anhydrous, and in order for precision farming to recognize anhydrous as a nitrogen source. So inside here we can purchase solid fertilizer. Over here we can purchase liquid fertilizer and herbicide. We have the ability to buy bulk seed right there. We have the ability to buy lime water. Remember, we need lime water in order to produce our sugar. We can buy that from right there. And then here we can sell products at Fox Farms. Welcome to Burger King. Sell point right here along the street. Welcome to Dunkin' Donuts. Sell point over on the back. Here we have a fuel depot. Here we have our farm dealership. We're going to come back to that here in a little bit. Yeah, I think we've already talked about those. And then on the other side of this road, this is where we went up to our farmhouse at the introduction of the video. The road right there. The main farm, our starting farm, is over there to our right. And this is farm number 2. So farm number 2, we have pigs. We have silage bunkers. We have a large olive grove. So we have an olive press, an oil press here at this particular farm. We have 4 grain bins. Again, we need to remove the top. And then we have liquid fertilizer, herbicide, lime, and solid fertilizer storage. Located right here. Lime tank, fertilizer tank, herbicide, liquid fertilizer. Inside of here, we have the oil mill at this particular farm. An interesting little story here about a 6,000-year-old olive tree. This is where we're going to bring our sunflower, canola, or olives, and then we're going to get oil right there. We have chickens on the farm. These are our 3 greenhouses that we own at the start. Here we have a cow area, hayloft, our manure heap. We have sheep over here on this side of the street. Further down the road, we have Pop's Place. On the left, we have a bale sell point. On the right, we have a horse area. And then we have another cow area located right here. And you can see we don't have the triggers because we didn't buy these areas. This is kind of a farm, but kind of not. It's not a numbered farm. Let's go ahead and buy the horse, buy the cow area, buy the sheep area. And once we have bought those, you can see those triggers are popping up. This is the road we drove in on at the start of the video. And down this road, we have the sawmill and then the carpentry that is going to make furniture and dog houses. So here we have our sawmill. So we have our log sell point. Then we have our production point. We have our wood chip conveyor belt. We have our spawn point for our planks, our interactive icon. Over here we have our interactive icon. And then we have our spawn point for our dog houses and our furniture. Then around the back we have our dump station. And then we have our animal dealer. And we have animated animals, everybody, here at the animal dealer, which is really awesome to see. So we have horses. We have sheep. We have pigs. And we have cows, all roaming the hillside down here at our animal dealer. So here we have a purchase point to buy manure. So again, we can buy slurry up at the biogas plant right across from field 9. And down here across from field 93, we can buy manure. We have our dump station for the animal dealer as far as a sell point. And then we have our animal auction right here. Oh, they got an auction going on right now, actually. Let's go ahead and make our way over to a ribs and steak restaurant. That is a sell point. Located right along the river, just south of field 66. And then we're going to turn around from there and take a look at field 3. Or sorry, farm 3. Then we'll conclude our aerial tour by checking out the farm 4, which is quite a big winery area. There's a lot of grapes going on. So here we are at Raz's Ribeyes. Prime rib sandwiches. We have a sell point located right here along the picturesque river. Not a bad view anywhere on this map. Seriously. So farm 3, we are going to have a cow area. We're going to have chickens. We're going to have sheep. And we're going to have pigs. So we've got our cow pen below. We have our farmhouse. We have our silo. We have a fuel storage. We have liquid storage for herbicide, liquid fertilizer, solid storage for lime and solid fertilizer. We have a hayloft, our chicken coop. We have a pig area. We have another cattle area. And then up the hill, we have a sheep area located right here. And let's go ahead and get some altitude to get up on top of this mountain. And I like this farm because we also have this road that extends from the farm down there. The sheep area extends up the hill to a couple of big grass fields here. Further up the hill to this section of fields over to our right. And this trio of fields to our left. As we move kind of across the southern edge of the map, let's rotate and once again look across the valley over to the other hillside, mountainside, whatever you want to call it. As I've said before, not a bad view anywhere on this map. Now up here we have kind of what I'm struggling. If I were to play this map, am I going to have Farm 4 or am I going to own and play Farm 1? Do I go big or do I go small? Right? So this is Farm 4. When you buy Farm 4, you buy fields 127 and 128 also. Those are below. We have a big cow area over here to our left. The hayloft directly across from that. We have silage bunkers. We have our liquid and solid storage. We have our grain storage. We have a horse area right here. We have a sheep area located right here. We have pigs. And then inside of this building, we have our winery. Basically our grape processing area. So we're going to bring grapes here. They're going to go into our facility. And we are going to get raisins and wine out right here. And when we get wine, we're going to get crates or pallets that look like this. Basically, we're going to get boxed wine. And then we also have a chicken coop located somewhere around here. And here's our chickens. And that, guys, is the massive grapes that we have on this map. 4 huge grape areas up here at this farm. Let's go ahead and make our way down to the vehicle shop where we're going to buy our Mahindra and do our drive around. I believe the shop is this way. See over there. Down here at our vehicle shop, we can go inside to activate the shop trigger. Right there. Or we have our maintenance trigger over here. And our maintenance trigger is going to be located right here at this bay. So I wanted to look because we didn't have the markers on the ground. Would really like to have seen the markers on the ground help us really locate where that is. They're going to have to come into here. Customer service department. Let's go ahead and get our Mahindra. See where our vehicle spawns in at. Under the shed. It's a pretty decent sized area for your machinery to spawn in at. Now, as far as getting machinery out of here, right? If this is your only way out, That is kind of a narrow area for things to spawn out. See if we have another way out. It might be a little bit bigger, a little bit wider. We have another area, so maybe store deliveries mod if you're going to want to come in here and buy big stuff. But overall, I mean, we're talking a 4X map here, right? This is a 4X map, but look at the PDA. Easily, if you account for all of the forest, half of the map, 2X of the map, 2 standard size maps is forestry, or forest. That leaves 2 standard size maps for agriculture. And as we've already seen when we looked at the field calculator screen earlier on in the video, we're not talking about massive fields. I think we can easily get away with stuff that is, 6 to 10 working meters. Should be able to get out of this shop pretty easily. Now, what I'm curious about is this lot over here. Is this one of those buyable plots? Yes, it is. Both of these are buyable plots. So these are 2 areas that we can buy and then make use of. So here we have Fox Farms again. We've already kind of went through this. We have our lime production. We have our anhydrous. We have a seed buy point. We have liquid fertilizer. We have herbicide. We have lime water that we can purchase. Over here with the trailer, we have a sell point at Fox Farms. We can buy solid fertilizer through here, and this door opens by itself as we pull up. We don't have to do anything there. Lots of triggers, lots of activity. I just love looking at that mountain. Those rocks, how the trees are growing out of there. Oh, it just looks amazing. Book me a trip to the Catskills. I am ready to go. So we have Burger King and Dunkin' Donuts. Sell points are along the back road. So there are sell points, as we saw earlier. Then we have our fuel. Over here. Subway, this is all just a fuel area. Make our way down to Farm 2, where we'll start buying our animals. We've got our private lane up to the starting farm. Now, as far as the river valley goes, it is fairly flat farmland. So we should be able to get by with maybe undersizing our farm machinery if we need to. Here we are coming into farm number 2. We have 2 pull-through silage bunkers. And all of the pig areas on the map are pretty much the same. So I think we will just, for brevity's sake, just buy pigs at one of them. So 270 pigs at each pig area. We have our pig food dump station. We have our slurry point. Let's go ahead and check the animals area. So they're going to take food. They're going to accept straw. So we're going to have a straw trigger inside of here, no doubt. And that's all we really need to do for our pigs. No need to water the pigs, thankfully. A wonderful mechanic introduced in FS22. We've already looked at the oil mill during the fly around portion. And the chickens, again, all the chickens are the same. Really don't think we need to look at those anymore. Large storage shed with workshop. We have our liquid for herbicide, liquid fertilizer, solid fertilizer, lime. We have our fuel storage. We have 4 bins for grain storage. I'm sure those bins will accept multiple crops. It's up to you as a player if you wish to play by only putting a single crop in a single bin. 3 large greenhouses that we owned at the start. And then we have cow area over here. This particular cow area will hold 250 cattle. We have our slurry point inside the gated area here. We have our milk trigger. We have a nice storage up top. Creaky storage, but we have storage nonetheless. Nice little loft up here. Then further down through the pen, we have our food trough. And coming through that, where we had our slurry point. There you can see one of the cows. We have our manure heap. And this is a hayloft. So let's go ahead and see what these haylofts hold. A lot of these farms have these haylofts. I'm sure they're all set up pretty much the same. So our dump point, we have our fill point. And it's going to hold hay, straw, totem extractions, silage, grass. As I mentioned, a lot of these farms are not sellable. The cow areas, for the most part, are not sellable. I think the chickens are, possibly the pigs are. So over here we have sheep, 65 sheep. Up along this hillside, we have our food station. Then we have our wool spawn point right there. Let's make our way down to Pulp's place. On the left, we have a bale sell point located right here. And on the right, we have a cow area. We have a horse area. 14 horses. In here. Nice storage shed. Then 50 cows in this area. Then we have our food trough. We have our water trough. I believe this area is set up for beef cattle, so there is no milk trigger. Let's just go ahead and check. Milk. Well, it says milk. Let's see if we can find the milk trigger. All over here. I don't think this door opens. No. So I don't think that's supposed to output milk. Since I don't see any sort of trigger there. Come down here to sawmill, carpentry, but I mean, check out these roads out from the ground. Everything just looks amazing. Really great details in the trees and everything. So we have our interactive icon here for our sawmill. We have our pallet spawn point for our planks. I thought I could fit through here. We have at the sawmill a sell point for logs. Regardless if we own the sawmill or not, we'll be able to sell logs at the log sell point, which is right around the corner here. So that's our dump station. That's our trigger to sell the logs at the sell point. And then over here, this is where we're going to drop our logs if we are going to be producing our planks, our wood chip point. Then if we own the carpentry, this is where we're going to deliver our planks. And then we're going to get the ability to have furniture or doghouses produced. They're going to spawn right there. Our interactive icon is at the house. And that is Martin's Amish Furniture. We have our animal dealer. We've already looked at those triggers. We have our animal buy trigger at the auction house. We have a sell point located right there. We can buy bulk manure from there. Let's go ahead and just motor around Field 93 and wander up to Raz's restaurant. And we'll just do a little in-cab driving so we get a little bit of a round perspective on this. During our first look video, we fast forwarded to October to see the fall colors, and this is just great. So while we're driving around, let's talk about our scoring metric a little bit. The map has 26 production points. Let's run through those again. 3 large greenhouses. We have a moonshine facility at the starting farm. We have a biogas plant, lime production, furniture production, potato chip, and French fry production. We have a sawmill. We have a clothing factory. We have a barley mill, a corn mill. We have a flour mill, a sugar mill, pig food mill, 2 bakeries. We have a winery and brewing area. We have multiple oil mills. One of those is at farm number 2. We have a cereal factory. And we also have a brewer that is going to make beer, whiskey, and corn whiskey. That is separate from the moonshine facility. We have a spinnery, a dairy, soda plant, and then wine production, which is over here at farm number 4. We're definitely going to give the map a full point with regard to having production built in or areas set aside for such, because we also have multiple areas in town that we could buy to place additional production down. So if this map was going to get extra bonus points, I think it would get extra bonus points for having production. This map is going to get a full point with respect to having included sell points for all of the base game crops, animal outputs, and production areas. There are ample areas to sell products. It's really great to see. Now, the first kind of knock on the map is only going to get a half a point with respect to the farms being customizable, because the farms are kind of customizable and kind of not customizable. More on that in a little bit. So here we have our pig area. We've already looked at one of those. We're not going to look at any more. We have a cow pen here that will hold 50 cattle. And then inside of here, we have our water trough and our food trough. Across the street, we have a silage bunker. We have a chicken coop. We have a hay loft. We have a fuel storage. We have a farm silo. We have our solid and liquid storages. We have a cow building that is going to hold there we go 300 cattle. We have our slurry point there. We have our milk station undoubtedly inside of here. We're going to have our food trough located right there. We have our farmhouse right here, and then we have a garage. This farm. But that doesn't end it, because we have also a sheep area further up the road. Located up here, and if we continued on up this road, we would come to the grass fields of 97 and 98, as well as the arable fields of 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, and 104. So we have 65 sheep. We have our wool spawn point there. Then we have our dump station for our food. There's our trough right there. So I think the icon is maybe a little bit misplaced. It's not actually inside the building, but what's really neat is this fence divides the sheep area from the cow area. So the cow nav mesh really extends from here all the way down to the cow barn, around the house, all over to the cow barn there. So the cows have quite a long area that they can roam around in. Go ahead and follow this road around to the town area. I think just like our no, not like our farm tour or air tour. We're gonna divert and go up the hill to field 4 or farm 4. We're gonna end our drive around over at farm 5. So as I was saying, customizable farms, we're going to give the map a half a point because we can sell the chickens, we can sell the pigs. In some cases, we can sell the farmhouse or the sleep trigger, but overall, the cow areas are pretty much affixed to the map. A lot of the other buildings at a lot of the farms are affixed. Some things can be sold, some things can't. So I'm just going to give the map a half a point on can the farms be customized, and also with respect to buildings using the new texture technique. I want to give the map 3/4 of a point. We're only going to take a 1/4 point off because this map has a ton of buildings. A ton of buildings. No, they're not all using the new techniques. They don't have to all be using the new techniques. But, yeah. There's a lot here. There's a lot going on. I think the map deserves 3/4 of a point for that. So here you have one of those buyable plots that we talked about. Here we have Men's Bar and Grill sell point. We have Walmart sell point. We have the spinnery. Located over here. As we said during the fly around, we have a sell point for the spinnery on the left. We have a production point for the spinnery on the right. Our spawn point for our pallets is over here under the roof. I was thinking possibly either of these may be sell points. They are not. We have a sell point here at the hat place. Laundromat, we have a wardrobe trigger. We have a sell point at Pulp place, and from what I understand, this town area right here, this area of the town is pretty hopping at night. Might be worth swinging by. We have Pop's place. Let's go ahead and find our way up to the 4th farm. Go to the bank. Now the road up to the 4th farm is long and pretty dang cool. I want to once again jump in first person perspective in cab to make our way up this road. Wind our way up to the top of this mountain area, top of the hillside, whatever you want to call it. Now, from what from what Nitro Dad said, this map I think has been tested with respect to AI driving, basically sending AI to go from point A to point B. I think this map's been tested pretty well with auto drive, using those same AI, I guess, nav points. I don't use AI in that way to drive from point A to point B. And I also haven't used auto drive, so I really can't speak personally about that. And welcome to Red Barn Cellars, daily tours and tastings. And here we have those grapevines. Lots of also arable fields up here. In addition to having chickens up here, we have pigs up here. We have silage bunkers. We have our liquid storages that we've seen at our other farms. We have plenty of shed storage. We've talked a little bit about already the winery production here at the barn. Dump points for our grapes, our pallet spawn points. The chickens we're just going to skip. The pigs we're going to skip because they're the same building. Go across the street over here to our winery tour facility. Right, we got a great 3-bay garage. Look at that. Alright, now we'll make our way over here to the animal areas. Here we have the horse area. Sorry, this is sheep. 65 is sheep. Our food trough. Our wall spawn point. Let's see, can we go inside of this? Oh, sadly, no. We have our horse area. Now, I'm not really sure why we have a manure heap down here for our horses, but okay. We have our food trough. And then while we're here, we'll go ahead and take a look fuel storage. We have our sheds. We have our hayloft. We have our slurry point. We have our milk point for our cows. 300 cows in this particular pen also. Our food trough down there in the pasture. And that's going to be farm number 4. Now we'll make our way back down the windy road, back into town, where we have a whole heap ton of sell points and production to get to. I thought we'd cut out the long drive down the lane. Now we're back down here to the main road. Back over here into town. So we have our bank. And then here we have the bakery, or the pair of bakeries. Bakery number 1 is for bread and cakes. Interactive icon, dump station, out spawn point. The bakery sell points in general, not tied to either production. And then we have our secondary bakery. We have our interactive icon, dump station, and spawn point. That is for our donuts, our bagels, and our hot dog buns. Here we have our dairy. So at the dairy we have a production point, and then we have a sell point here at the dairy. Then we have our pallet spawn point and interactive trigger. Over here we have the brewery. Okay, so the brewery has 2 lanes. We have our pallet spawn point, and we're gonna spawn pallets of barrels here. So here we have double barrel aged whiskey. Then we have slow aged corn whiskey. And then we have beer. We're going to get pallets of barrels of beer, whiskey, or corn whiskey. And we're coming through backwards, but just like the other points that we've already talked about, we have a production dump station and then a sell station. The selling station is going to be to the left. The production point is going to be to the right on all of these. I love it when there is consistency. Now over here, we also have wine production. Again, so we have our dump station there. Then we have a spawn point over here. We're making wine at this brewery. This is going to be our soda factory. So we have our interactive icon. We have our pallet spawn point for our Adirondack soda. And we have a dump station around back. Production point. We have a spinnery located right here. So we have our interactive icon. We have our pallet spawn point at Whitney Gin. We have our dump station for production. Guess what? On the right, and we have over here on the left, a sell point that is independent of production ownership. Over here we have our sugar mill. So we have our interactive icon. We have our dump station. And I think our sugar pallets are going to spawn on the other side. We saw during the fly around our potato factory is right here. This is going to be where we're going to dump product for production. We have our interactive icon. And then on the other side of the building is where we are going to dump product to sell. Right there. Now the next sell point is up here at the baseball stadium. So we need to kind of figure out how to get up to there. Here we are at the baseball stadium. And we're going to come around here with a kind of a small vehicle, because the trigger to sell hot dog buns is going to be right here in the back of the stands. And I think we have already looked at this section of town. Yeah, because there's the propane area. There we have the hat dealer. Firehouse, fire department on the right. There's our potato factory on the left. Our sugar factory on the left. Spinnery on the right. We have oil plant. First, let's go over here to the left. Because again, we have the grain mill, and the grain mill is rather complex. There is a whole lot going on here. So up front at the grain mill, we have a grain buy point. And at the grain buy point, we can purchase wheat, corn, soybeans, sunflower, sorghum, canola, barley. We can actually just buy bulk product right there. Now if we loop around, this is where we're going to be able to just sell product, grain selling point. Now if we want to produce flour, we have our interactive icon on the left. We have our dump station for our flour right here. Around back, we have even more production options. We have our cracked corn production. We have the interactive icon to buy that. We have our cracked corn production dump station right there. We have our rolled barley interactive icon and dump station right there. And then we have one more production facility. We have our interactive icon right there. And then we have the ability to dump what we need for our pig food production. And then we also have the ability to get our pig food out from here. All of the other production items are palletized, and they are going to spawn over here. So we have 3 areas denoted for pallets to spawn. Our cracked corn, our rolled barley, and our flour is all going to spawn right there. This is Klein House Bed and Breakfast. That is a sell point right there. Nearly done, everybody. I know this is super long, but boy, is this map packed full of features. We have our cereal mill and our oil mill, another oil mill located right here. Exit only, whatever. So sell point to the left, production point to the right. We have our interactive icon. We have our pallet spawn point. And then we have an oil mill. Again, we have a sell point to the left, production point to the right as far as lane goes. We have our pallet spawn point over here to the side of the building. Our interactive icon at the door. And then, everybody, we have one more farm to take a look at. Guess we really need to end over there at the biogas plant and grain sell point. That won't take too long. Now this farm has a massive amount of stuff going on for it. So on the left side of the road, we have 4 grain bins. We have our liquid fertilizer, our herbicide, our lime, our solid fertilizer storages. We have our hay loft. We have a silage bunker. We have large sheds for vehicle and implement storage. We have a fuel station and then a very large yard here that is open for whatever we might want to put in it. Then across the street, we have our farmhouse. We have a chicken coop. Then we have a large cow barn that will hold 300 cows. We have our slurry point. We have our milk station. We have our food trough. Our straw triggers, no doubt, in here. We also have our pig area that we're not going to go into a whole lot of detail on because all the pig areas are the same. Over here we have another cow pasture. Holds 50 cattle. And inside you can see we have our water trough, our food trough. Then further up the road, we then have a sheep area. Holds 65 sheep. We have our water trough, we have our food trough, we have our wool spawn point. And then let's just take this gravel road. Crossed. Look at how we have a nice mix of fields that are fenced, and then we have fields that are not fenced. Across from field 11, we have a nice little kind of just random shed there for vehicle to implement storage, possibly bale storage. Here we have sell point at G and H grain, or GH grain. Located right here. And then one final area, and that is going to be the BGA. Now let's wrap this all up with the final score. Trigger and player interactive areas clearly marked. We've got a mixture of things going on here. We have a whole heap ton of triggers, right? We have a whole ton of triggers. Some are maybe not quite placed as well as they could be. Some are missing the hash marks. But the sheer number of triggers that we have, most of them are placed fine. I'm going to give the map 3/4 of a point here also. Alright, so that we are sitting at 4 out of 5 with respect to this map at this point. So here we have, here we have a biomass heating plant sell point. And then at our biogas plant itself, we have a slurry unload point to sell slurry. We have a digestate pickup, again, for our digester. We have a slurry buy point, so we can buy slurry here. Then we have our interactive icon. And then we have 2 large 3-sided bunkers. Then we have 2 massive BGA pits. This one is for production. And guess what? This one is to sell silage all the time, anytime. It is the sell point. So guys, let me know down in the comments below. What do you all think of Middleburgh? I have to say, Nitro Dad has really outdone himself yet again. First up, we had Hazard County for FS19. Then we had Georgetown, New York for FS19. Then we had Susquehanna River Valley for FS19. And now his first map for Farm Sim 22. Hopefully not his last map for Farm Sim 22. We have Middleburgh, New York. for Farm Sim 22. Let me know what you all think down in the comments below. I think this map is a winner, chicken dinner. You would be a fool not to try to play on this if you were on PC. If you're on console, sorry guys, it is a 4X map. It is not going to work for you. Until next time, happy farming.